Let me ask you a simple question. Who is really in control of a modern company? Is it the CEO, the board, the processes, the IT systems, the data, or the AI models that increasingly make decisions before humans even notice? Because here is the uncomfortable truth. In most modern enterprises, control is fragmented, delayed, and often invisible. Decisions emerge from interactions between people, software, data pipelines, vendors, regulation, incentives, and now autonomous AI systems. And no single person sees the whole picture. That's what this series is about. I'm Gianluca, and this is Possibly Possible. On this channel, we explore what's actually possible and what's dangerously misunderstood at the intersection of business, technology, systems, and human behavior. This is not a tutorial channel. This is not top 10 cloud services. And this is definitely not architecture diagrams with no consequences. This series is called Who is Really in Control? Enterprise Architecture in the Age of AI, Autonomy and Change. And it exists because something fundamental has changed. Yet most organizations are still operating with mental models from the past. For years, enterprise architecture has been misunderstood. Some people think EA is documentation, governance, bureaucracy, cloud diagrams, a gatekeeping function, or something you do once and then forget. Others think enterprise architecture is dead. Both are wrong. Enterprise architecture is not about controlling systems. It's about designing the conditions under which decisions are made. And today, those decisions are no longer made only by humans. Why complexity exploded? Let's slow down and be very explicit. Complexity didn't increase because technology is cooler. It increased because organizations are globally distributed. Systems are event-driven, not linear. Vendors and SaaS tools act as external organs. Data flows faster than humans can reason about. AI systems introduce non-deterministic behavior. Regulations change faster than architectures. And incentives are misaligned across teams. In the past, enterprises behaved like machines. Today, they behave like living systems. And living systems cannot be fully controlled, only influenced. So let's return to the original question. Who is really in control? In most organizations, strategy is set at the top. Execution happens at the edges. Decisions happen in the middle. Feedback arrives too late. And accountability is blurred. Now add AI. AI doesn't just execute instructions. AI recommends, predicts, optimizes, prioritizes, acts autonomously, learns from outcomes, and that means agency is shifting. From humans to systems, from plans to feedback loops, from explicit decisions to emergent behavior. And enterprise architecture exists to make this visible. Not to stop it, not to over-control it, but to design it responsibly. Let me be very clear about what this series will do. This series will explain complex ideas without assuming prior knowledge, challenge comfortable assumptions, use real-world failures and incidents, talk about power, incentives and responsibility, treat AI as an architectural actor, treat humans as part of the systems, not users. This series will not sell frameworks, promote vendors, pretend architecture is neutral, reduce EA to technology choices, give you easy answers. If you're looking for comfort, this is not it. If you are looking for clarity, welcome. Here is how this journey is structured. We will first look at the foundations. We reset mental models. We explain why EA still matters. We replace the enterprise as a machine with enterprise as a distributed organism. Then we will move to data and intelligence. We treat data as an asset, a liability, and sometimes a weapon. We introduce AI and agentic systems as decision makers, not tools. Next, in control, security and trust, we talk about zero trust, governance without slowing down, why compliance often lies, and why security is now continuous judgment. We will then move to distribution beyond the cloud. Edge devices, smart systems, 5G and 6G, latency as a business constraint, loss of central control. We will then look at humans, work and geography, global workforces, follow the sun models, context loss, cognitive latency, and how AI reshapes who does what. Finally, we will look at the architect of the future. Platform thinking, internal developer experience, ethics, influence over authority, and what it really means to be an architect now. Along the way, we'll include failure cases, AI incidents, regulated industries. We will look at startups versus governments, because theory without consequences is fiction. Why does all this matter? Because if you work in technology, product, architecture, security, leadership, strategy, or even operations, you are already part of these systems. And whether you realize it or not, architecture is shaping your decisions, incentives are shaping your behavior, AI is shaping outcomes, and nobody is fully in control. Understanding this is no longer optional. In the next episode, we'll start where most misunderstandings begin. We'll look at the modern enterprise as a distributed organism, not a machine, not a hierarchy, not a system you can fully design, but something that evolves, adapts, breaks, and surprises its creators. Once you see this, you'll never look at organizations in the same way again. If this episode challenged how you think about companies, technology, or control, subscribe. Not because this series has answers, but because it gives you better questions. And in the age of AI and autonomy, better questions are the real advantage. I'm Gianluca. This is Possibly Possible. And This series asks one question: who is really in control?